police come to where they originally get the call of a boy running in his pajamas away from a apartment complex. Once they got there, the police found out that the boy had already ran off. Not knowing what to do, the police send out missing posters for the boy to see if his family or anything could come up. They even get descriptions from nearby people describing the boy running. The boy had green hair, bright green eyes, freckles, a star pajama. He looked like he was messy, sleeping somewhere that is covered with soot, and now is on the run from someone or something. And the police left that out for so many years that after a while they just stopped. Some people tried to claim the reward of finding this boy, but never fully got a chance. Because the ones that they do believe are the little boy end up revealing in a later date that they're not. After a while, they just give up on finding the boy. Couple of years went by, the boy still stayed the same. He had the fear of finding those toys, chasing him, ruining his life like he did to his family. He realized the only way to amend this curse is try to see what he could do. As a young boy, he always dreamt of becoming a hero, but since he got in no quirk due to being in a I don't know, the fact that he was not able to get a quirk made his father mad and caused so many injuries on the poor boy. So whenever the boy can, he takes his anger out on small trees, rocks, and heck, even buildings. He just punch, kick, whatever he can onto those objects and building up his strength till he reaches the age of 15. He has not been going to school. Instead, he spends most of his time in the library so he could learn about everything about everyone as well as the history of the world. After a while, no one really looked at him as the little boy who disappeared out of nowhere. Instead, they see like a respectable young boy that always looks like he was looking off into some place, somewhere. He feels like someone is always looking, watching, staring. After a while, the boy changed his name to Izuku Midoriya, and now he goes into everything junior high as he tries to blend in with most of the crowd of teenagers who have cool quirks, some showable, some not, as he spends most of his time studying, training his body, and preparing himself for the UA Heroes entrance exam. Since he was announced as a quirkless kid, he was mainly the target of bullying, and so he wants to show those people wrong and see if in this school if it's gonna be different or the same as when he was in elementary. Turns out it was the exact same. No one even bothered to give him a look, not even a chance to even like show himself or even shine in any way, shape, or form. Because whenever he tries to like do something, it will always be backlash by the other students, even some of the staff members themselves. And he hated that. And he hated them. He wanted them to suffer like he did all those years ago when first finding those toys, as he couldn't really figure out how to make people be punished for their crimes of bullying, because he's not the only one. There's a couple other quirkless kids in the school being tortured in some sort of way by other students and heck even staff members. Some worse than others. And for some reason, he got an urge to just reach his arm out on the most popular kid in school. For not being strong, but for being pretty. His target was one of the popular girls in school, seeing if he could try and do something. He wasn't gonna do anything that bad, he just wanted to scare her as a punishment for always bullying him and the other quirkless kids. As his own little coping way of not having a family anymore. For, as said in the last video, his family got sucked up by toys. The next day, however, the girl didn't show up. He thought, okay, she might be sick. Or partying, because she always pretends to be sick. And then the second he goes on any laptop or computer from the school, he finds out that she has gone to parties. And he wanted her to suffer because she everything he wanted. He wanted a perfect, normal life. Heck, all the kids with quirks had something he did not. A perfect, normal life, and he could not have that. And he wanted them to suffer. As so, the girl didn't show up for the next couple of days. So her parents initially got worried. Called the school, anyone. They target all the quirkless kids in the school saying what they did. Because no one gives a crap about a quirkless kid in a world full of quirks. And now, Izuku's being targeted as one of the attackers because there's at least 5 or 6 quirkless kids in school. Originally, there was a little bit more, like 10, but all of them either moved schools or ended up not showing up anymore and disappearing off the face of the earth, which most of the kids with quirks actually cheered and clapped for. And now he's being targeted as one of the potential kidnappers for this case, as he looks on in disgust at the police officers who are accusing him of something he did not do. When the police officers ask any remote questions on why or if he had any motives against her, he said, yeah, I have motives against her, but it's not like anyone else doesn't. Literally, half the kids with quirks are blaming kids without quirks just because they have none. And so you guys are just targeting a bunch of kids who are innocent. No matter what you say or do, you have no physical evidence that we quirkless kids have ever go near her. Instead, you could talk to every kid with a quirk and they might have a motive against her, but now you're just talking to kids without quirks. The police officer was offended by the offer and slapped him across his face. The boy remarked and said, huh, I guess that's how it is. You target a kid and then slap him in front of a video camera. As the boy pointed to the left, and the police officer found out a camera who was live streaming. You attack innocent children for your own self-pleasure. Because you can't find a culprit, you decide to make one. That's what police do in this certain era. So go ahead, accuse me. I have video proof that I did nothing, as well as you harming me. As the police officer just storms out, Izuku grabs his camera. He changed his name into Izuku. Yeah. As I'm gonna just call him Izuku. Izuku. The boy grabs his camera and exits out the room with scoffs and glares from other kids as he just looks at them, flips them off, and walks away. One of the kids tries to grab him, and he immediately grabs the arm and twisted it as the boy screams in pain. The other quirkless kids look at him with amazement as the police officer who was originally interrogating all the quirkless kids look at him with disgust. Because he stand up for what he thinks is quite right. Because everyone in this world picks on quirkless kids for no apparent reason. And now he's just standing up. As the most popular boy in school, Katsuki Bakugo, goes up to him and tries to explode his face. Before he did anything, the boy literally sucker punched him in the gut. And now, he's looked on from every quirkless kid's eyes as their potential saver from the hell that they have experienced from a certain young age. And he even said, any quirkless kid here who's being the target of bullying, harassment, or anything, come to me immediately and I'll solve it myself. And just to let you know, this guy is quite strong. Like, he could easily break a... What's the name of that thing? Locker. It's a locker. He could easily break a locker, and it will be perfectly fine. Because it will have a huge dent, and that will be enough.